point I'm trying to stress is now that we over with the heartbreak tour, we shouldn't sit around at home and get lazy and stuff. Right? Hello?
Yo, we're here. Get him out the house.
All right, peace. Yo, let's go.
Hey, what's up, everybody? If you're just tuning in, this is your boy Jay Mace right here on the Time Machine on WUAG 103.1 FM, playing the best of new and old school hip-hop, R&B, and everything else in between. Right now, on the phone with me, I have New Edition choreographer Brooke Payne. Mr. Payne, welcome to the Time Machine.
Hey, no doubt, man. Glad to be here. How you doing?
I'm doing fine, sir, and how you doing this fine evening?
Yeah, one more time, I'm sorry.
I said, how you doing this fine evening, Mr. Payne?
I'm good, man. I'm in Atlanta right now. Good weather, I'm cool.
Okay, all right. Without further ado, let's get this interview started. Now, explain to the people how you got started up in the Roxbury, Boston, Massachusetts area.
How I got started. Basically, being in a group myself, this was prior to New Edition. I was in a singing group, but of course with some groups and some members you can't really keep them focused, so it didn't really work out. So the visions and things that I wanted to do with my own group, I started working that out with kids in the community, and that's how New Edition got born.
Okay, now I've seen the behind the music on VH1, and they were saying that they got together, they were playing rec ball at the Orchard Park Rec Center, correct?
Yeah, they all came from Orchard Park, and they were friends then, back in the day when they was kids, and they wanted to get together and do the talent shows, because I used to have other groups in those talent shows they used to come to, a group called the Untouchables and the Transitions, and of course, you know, they used to see that and see the girls yelling at these groups, so they wanted to do that themselves, and basically they really wanted to do it just so they could win some of the money and go get some candy.
Right. So basically, they were just doing it, get the girlies in to get some little money in the pocket so that they can be fly, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no doubt.
All right, so what was that rehearsal period like preparing for the Hollywood Talent Night?
Well, when they first came to me at one of the talent shows and I started working with them, I think we worked maybe 2 years before that particular show, them doing other talent shows around the community. But we worked 2 years on really me getting them, tight on their craft. And when they got to that Hollywood Talent Night, which a lot of people don't know, that was the first time that they performed live with a band. And the band was a bunch of kids their same age. So it was just this whole youthful thing, and it was just undeniable.
Okay, now I believe Ronnie was the last addition to the group because he was in another group, correct?
Yeah, And when they got signed, he didn't do that talent night. When they got signed and they wanted to go to 5 members, that's when I had, taught Ron all the stuff and brought him to the group. So he was prepared when he came in.
Okay, so Maurice Starr wanted 5 guys because originally it was Ricky, Ralph, Mike, and Bobby.
Yep.
Okay, and then they went ahead and recorded Candy Girl, which was a smash hit, but little did they know that it was getting played all over the world, and it was getting spins in Boston, but little did they know it was going to be an international smash.
Yeah, no doubt. Man. Nobody knew that, but it did, and that's what history wrote.
So what was that period like when Candy Girl came out, and everybody like, these guys are the next Jackson 5?
I think part of all that was the song sounded like the Jacksons with Mike's voice at that time. And then, a lot of it, when they first came out and they were starting to perform, we performed up in New York a lot first. And the song was growing real big then. And then when most people seen them, they was in nightclubs, mind you, and they were still kids. People thought it was, just a gummy, bubblegum phase until they actually seen them perform. And then they just seen, how tight the performance was and how seasoned they was. And that's what really won a lot of people over.
Right. So what was it like doing those rehearsals? Because New Edition is known for their tight dance routines.
Well, the rehearsals were, very hard, drilling, strict rehearsals because those are the only ones that I do. So it's a very focused type situation. It's a closed rehearsal. I don't put it where it's anything that's not as the normal situation they're going to have when they're on stage. So I don't allow them to, I didn't allow them to rehearse in a room that was full of air conditioning, so on and so forth. They rehearsed in rooms that were, you know, the air was turned off, you know, giving them the feel of how a nightclub was. You know, I used to smoke at the time, so I used to run past them in front of them and blow smoke in their face because they had to perform in those conditions, and that's how their rehearsals were.
So basically, it was like boot camp 101.
No, the boot camp 110.
Wow, so it was advanced boot camp.
No doubt.
Okay, now, coming off of Candy Girl, they went ahead and left Streetwise to sign with MCA to put out their self-titled album, and they brought their pop hit Cool It Now along with Mr. Telephone Man. Now, explain that period when they really started to, like, cross over from R&B to pop.
Well, you know, they never left R&B, but yeah, of course, you know, as you get big and the demand gets there for you, then you cross over into that pop world. So, you know, they were on both sides of the fence, but it was just a phenomenon at that point, man, that it was growing that big, and that, you know, the next project, you know, done even better and bigger than Candy Girl. It was, you know, more than everybody could dream for.
I know there was probably some tales of like some stories going on of the lengths girls would go to get backstage to meet one of the fellas and all that stuff. Like parents probably paying X amount of dollars to get in one of the guys' rooms and whatnot, because these guys were, at the time, the only teen group that was really doing it big, you know, and girls would just fall in love with them, and guys wanted to be just like Ronnie, Bobby, Ricky, Mike, and Ralph.
Yeah, you know, all of that has big parts in the story. I can't sit and give it all to you right now because, you know, the 2008 is the 25th anniversary, and we do finally have both the book and the movie coming out,
Okay.
you know, in the fall of 2008. So I don't want to give up too much of that stuff.
All right.
About all the stuff that you just said, that's rock and roll, and they definitely lived it at an early age.
Wow. Now, I want to know this from you personally. How did you feel when Maurice Starr went and created New Kids on the Block?
I didn't have a problem with him creating New Kids on the Block. You know, from the Jackson 5, there was the Osmonds. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Block, I actually worked with them also, so some of their choreography was mine too. I didn't have a problem with that because with music, it's an expression and it's always going to grow. Just like with New Edition, there was people before them, the Jacksons and the Temptations and so on and so forth, and there's people behind them like B2K and Pretty Ricky, you know, so music is always going to grow, so to be anywhere and feel something negative about something that's coming, I think.
Yeah, because I always consider as New Edition and New Kids, the two generations of boy bands, pretty much Backstreet Boys and NSYNC came from those two groups.
Exactly, no doubt.
And what was that transition like after the Under the Blue Moon album and going into Heartbreak, where Bobby had left and you guys were bringing in Johnny?
Well, that was, you know, the transition of going from a teenager to adulthood, basically. You know, that was the part of bringing in the seasoned sound of Johnny to just add to what was already on the table. And as you noticed then, too, it wasn't a point of really replacing anything because New Edition has always been equal group with Ralph and Ricky doing vocals and Ron and Ralph handling the rap part of it. And Johnny came in to come with the ease into the adulthood side of it. So that was a real major move, but it was a great move.
Definitely, because they were at that crossroads where the bubblegum soul and they're growing, they want that mature sound. And I've also saw in the behind the music that there was a point where Ralph and Johnny was kind of butting heads.
No, there was never really a strong point, and I think a lot of it just had to do with the way it came in. from the beginning, but as far as that, getting past that, they were cool.
Okay.
But, you know, a lot of the insides and the deepness of it, like I said, you'll be able to read it in the book.
Okay, now what was the rehearsals like when Johnny came in the group? Because I saw in the Behind the Music outtake that Ricky was saying that Johnny sort of had kind of like a trouble coming into the dancing part because, like I said, New Edition is known for dancing, and Johnny was basically doing like soul music with Half Crazy and Super Love.
Well, yeah, Johnny came in with 3 left feet, basically.
Not 2 left, but 3 left.
No, not 2. He came in with 3 left feet.